lead singer named Justin Moore.
We don't do a whole lot of bullshitting up here. We just get up here and play country music.
The Justin Moore Podcast is sponsored by Bobcat. Visit them at bobcat.com. What is up, everybody? Justin Moore here. Welcome to the Justin Moore Podcast. If you're watching right now, you see that JR and I are in the same location, which has been rare with this. Been a while.
Yeah.
And we've done a lot of different spots, my house, the bus, and different places, but I don't know if we've both been in my office.
Yeah, we did one from in here.
Did we do one in here?
Yeah, we did one from in here, I remember.
But for those out there just listening, JR's here. And thank you guys for tuning back into the Justin Moore Podcast. We missed you last week. And we'll go into why. We had a busy travel schedule. As you guys know, is not uncommon for us. But happy to be back with you. JR,
Absolutely.
How are you, buddy?
I'm good, brother. Same. Just trying to make sure I got all my stuff up here. I know everybody's been using the hashtag Justin Moore Podcast and sending us some great questions and comments, especially since the new single came out. Got a lot of stuff on that.
Have we spoken since then? I mean, on the podcast. I don't know that we have.
I think we talked. I guess we.
Maybe it had just come out.
Yeah, we
or
just
something.
announced it. That it came out the day before or something, right?
Yeah.
It might have been a day or two. Yeah, but anyway, not really. Not a whole lot, but some.
This is so much easier.
Oh, God, you kidding me?
I mean, I wish I'm going to tell you right now.
This is why Joe Rogan and them have so much fun. It's so easy. They just walk in a room and start chit-chatting to each other. Not
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how many of you guys, which I would be curious to know, watch the podcast in addition to or in place of listening to the podcast, but use the hashtag Justin Moore Podcast and send that. Say listen and watch, listen or watch, whatever.
Yeah.
I'd be curious to know because it is a lot of extra work, but to reiterate the point, this is so much easier if you are watching. I mean, we don't have to, you and I are trying to do this over Zoom, and usually, sometimes our internet's a little wacky, especially if we have guests, and I don't know, it's just, this is totally so easier. Much better.
And hey, we're not getting to use the Zoom machine today, but yeah, this is just so much better. We just have to set up one computer with the thing, anyway.
One camera.
Yeah, one camera, two mics, boom, boom,
yeah.
boom. But shout out to Cody for always putting it together, no matter what pieces of crap we download to him to put together for the podcast, because I know it's rough. But yeah, and you've got better internet thanks to Elon Musk and Starlink.
Now
we've got a little better internet than we used to have over here. So I was noticing that just bebopping around the house, doing stuff, checking emails and stuff. It's better than it ever has been for sure.
Yeah, knock on wood. I mean, I don't know how it compares to yours, but compared to all the ones we've tried since we moved here almost 6 years ago. It'll be 6 years in December. So damn near 6 years ago. It is, leaps and bounds better. Even trying to watch Apple TV and Netflix, those things.
And stuff,
we had, you guys know I don't know what I'm talking about with most of the technology stuff, but we have to, or first of the month or first of our cycle, it would be fast and good, and then as we watched more Netflix and this and that, it just kind of dwindled out. Because once you're getting, I guess, closer to your maximum amount of
data or
some kind of bytes, I don't know what that would be. Cody's laughing, but it would start slowing down, and we couldn't watch anymore. Now, since we've had this, we've been able to watch unlimited amounts of our shows and that kind of stuff, which I'll get into a show that we discussed last night. We'll get into a show later that I have mixed emotions on. I've watched it. JR has not. And then we've not talked about the show that you and I have been watching together that we really like. I don't think we have.
Which one?
The one on the bus.
She-Hulk?
Yeah, She-Hulk.
She-Hulk, Attorney at Law?
Yeah.
That's a great show. We love Marvel.
So, but no, we wanted to check in with you guys this week as we are getting ready to take off. We're recording this on Monday.
Yep.
And we're getting ready to. We're kind of in vacation mode, to be honest with you, because we're getting ready to take off tomorrow morning for. is it Riviera Maya, Mexico? Is that what it is?
It's not Cancun's.
It's basically the Cancun area. Because we've talked about the last month or so. We're playing a show down there at the Hard Rock Hotel Riviera Maya, I believe.
On the 24th.
And we've had a bunch of people ask, and you've mentioned it on a number of the most recent podcasts that you've got to stay there to get tickets. I mean, for example, JR's wife's going, my wife's going, and we don't even know if our wives can go because we're not staying there.
Right. So,
I promised people tickets months ago, not knowing that. So, but I did see somebody. I don't know if you heard this. We'll get into the shows we played this past weekend, but somebody in, I think it was Denver.
Yeah, it was. I heard the guy
said, "We'll see you next week," which is this week in Mexico. So I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
And then somebody on the radio show this morning called in and said they loved the Las Vegas show. They were there.
Oh, great! Yeah, that was a fun show
from Arkansas.
Oh, they were out there.
Yeah, so I thought that was it's always kind of neat with
in Vegas, but Vegas is one of those towns you might expect to get so many conventions and people come to town for stuff. But yeah, like you said, we don't even know about the Mexico show. Yeah, we're staying down the road most of the week, and then we'll go over there for the night before and the day of the show to check in and all that stuff. But yeah, it's nothing we can do. We don't have any comp tickets. I mean, like, there's just no way getting around it. Even our friends are coming with us may not be able to go unless because it's just a capacity thing for them. I don't understand it, but I can tell you all this: if you ever go, the few international shows we do are 10 times harder than doing them in the States. So Canada. Oh yeah, just everything. And that kind of stuff.
I mean, not that we don't love going.
I love it. It's just because of currency and just the laws and the this and it's all the different stuff, and
it's only been magnified with the pandemic
stuff. Yeah, and this is the first time we've ever had one of those. I remember mentioning it when I first got the contract. I was like, no comps. That's something else, And then I read the literature on it, and it was like I understood why. Yeah, it's private.
And probably our minimum is 10. Yeah, we normally get 20, 30.
Yeah, even if we open for George Strait, we get 10 or 20 comps.
Right. But we'll start with I don't know if you have anything.
Well, I was just going to say
start with last week.
The shows. Yeah, I was going to go with that. Yeah, we had played the last shows we did before we talked to you guys, we had went to Corinth, Mississippi and played a show, which was awesome to be back home in North Mississippi. Good old folks, just good old country folks, man. Love it. Love that area. It just feels like home. It's basically between our two houses, basically.
It is, yeah.
And then we went over to Ridgeland, South Carolina and did a thing, OpFob, for a bunch of veterans and service people, which was so cool. Shout out to our buddy Stormin' Norman Brewer, the Dream himself, and Jared Ashley, who helped put all that on. Jared's an artist who does a lot with veterans now, and our buddy Lucas Hogue was there. Travis Denning, got to catch up with Travis. Hadn't hung out with Travis in a while since we had him on the podcast. We hadn't done but a few shows, so it was good to catch up with Travis. It was a real cool setting. They have a it's like a park, a big, I don't know how many hundreds of acres is, but a big park that's all set up for veterans and active service, law enforcement and military and people like that to go out and enjoy and relax and stuff. So had the big concert there, and they did a big fundraiser to raise money for what goes on and takes to keep all that up for the veterans and service people throughout the year.
Yeah, a really neat idea.
It's
to just expound. It's only for veterans, active military service members and their families,
police officers,
firefighters, servicemen and women, and they have a gun range and really nice facilities. What'd you say?
It was all hunting. They had different hunting
they
options
take them hunting. Really a cool thing, and they're doing a lot of good. And a lot of it is trying to help the guys who are coming back and the gals who are coming back, and the suicide rate's crazy, and I don't have the numbers in front of me, but they told us, and so it's a really good deal. And anytime we have the chance to do stuff with our servicemen and women, you guys know, obviously, we try to do. And it was neat, man. It's just that you talk about Mississippi, which is our kind of people. So is anything military, base-wise, and we try to do. We probably do 10 of those a year, something in that range. And it always, every show's special in its own right and unique in its own way, but those are always, there's a little more to those. You know, you feel a little more sense of responsibility.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Yeah. Because even that day when we were there, leading up to Travis or all the acts playing, they had the demonstrations and stuff, which was so cool. I mean, we got to talk and see a 99-year-old war veteran from World War II, and it was one of a few members left. I mean, it's just some incredible people. And then I thought was really cool, which I maybe it has been there.
We gave a home away.
Gave a home away, yeah. Folds of Honor, they do a lot. Got to give shout out to Folds of Honor. We do some stuff with those guys now, and they do a lot for people. But I thought was really cool. We were sitting out in front of the bus, getting ready, watching some of these little presentations, and when the girls and the chorus people came up, all dressed, it was like, I guess it was 5 different ladies all dressed in different for the different branches of the service, and they all sang like chorus of the like the anthems of each branch of the service. Right. I thought that was cool.
That was really cool. It was that, and I thought you were going here, but they did different demonstrations. That was one example. The other was they had were they drug dogs or were they attack dogs?
Yeah, the K9 demonstration.
And they did these demonstrations on stage. Yeah. And these dogs and the dogs are not big dogs.
No, that dog jumped on that guy's shoulder
and does not let go.
No, and just,
of course, they had all the protective.
Well, no, before that, just like while they were waiting to show it, he said, "Get up here." The dog got up on the one guy's shoulder, just sat there and waited.
Oh, I didn't see that. I missed
that.
He's
just 40-something-pound shepherd just sitting on this guy's shoulder while he's talking about him.
But the training that goes into that, and how smart those dogs and loyal, and it's pretty amazing.
They gave away one. I just remember that.
Dog, yeah.
It was like a $10,000 or $15,000 dog that they raffled or did a live auction with. It was one of those special dogs that they're going to send to get trained and all this, but it was one of the same kind of breeds that they use for service stuff.
But it was really neat. It was in a neat place, and
it was over near Savannah, Georgia. Had the trees with the live oaks with the moss.
Yep. Cool. And so thanks to those Corinth, Mississippi, and then Ridgeland, South Carolina, but we weren't with you last week, but mainly due to travel. Yeah. We were coming back. Where were we coming back from? I forget. Well, anyway, it was it was a very long travel day. JR had to go home really quickly. I think you flew home.
Yeah, I flew home.
And then you had to drive back like a day or so after. So we really, quite frankly, just did not have the opportunity, the timeline, excuse me, just it didn't. We couldn't do it.
Yeah, and we never stopped on the bus. We were like straight shot to Vegas. We did 24
overnight. And then we went directly to Vegas on the bus for a show that this past Thursday night at a place we've played before.
Red Rock.
That's right.
Oh, yeah, it was awesome.
Casino and hotel and spa, and JR and I took full advantage of the spa that day.
Absolutely, it was nice.
It was really awesome. Probably the best spa I've been to.
Yeah, it was
honestly.
Nice.
I mean, they had
really
the
relaxing
steam room and the
sauna,
and they gave you the robe and the flip flops.
Oh yeah, it was nice.
Got massages and I've totally been converted to a massage guy now.
Man, I'm telling you, the older we get, you ride that bus long enough, it seems whatever, but man, it helps. It helps. It's just you need it every now and then.
If you're going to Vegas and you don't care about being on the strip, or you want to be off the strip and close, I mean, they're like 15, 20 minutes from the strip, but you want to not as skanky a place, a little nicer place, really, that's
it's pretty chill. Huge pools, nice outdoor area.
That's the way when we haven't been to, the ACMs in a while, but when we did, that's what we did. We always stayed kind of off the beaten path, and because you're not in the midst of all the chaos and the
scammers.
Now, if you're younger and I don't know, single, or even if you're a young couple, I mean, I get how you think that's fun, but we've been there, done that, and don't want any part of it really anymore. We're not really high on gambling. I mean, I do a little bit of it, but not much at all. And so it's a cool spot to check out, and we've played there before. The way they do the stage is really cool. This pool area, it's almost like there's either multiple pools.
There's several pools.
Okay. But it's a huge area. I don't know, 2 or 3 acres or
yeah, it's huge.
I mean, it's huge. Yeah. And they set the stage up at the end of this rectangle kind of area where the pools and hot tubs and all that are. And there's balconies. It's really neat. I mean, it's a neat place for a show, and I'm assuming we're not the only show they do. I'm assuming they do that quite often.
Yeah, they do.
So, yeah, check that place out. And then the next night we were in Utah. I forget the
South Utah Southern Utah University.
Yeah.
Cedar City, Utah.
Which just went D1 a couple of years ago. Something like that. And anyway, played there. Good show.
Great.
A little strange for us. It's a dry show, which you would expect from Utah. Nothing wrong with it, but it's a little different because typically, I guess I should probably explain dry show because people listening may not know what that means. That means no alcohol is sold. And so the crowd was great, but maybe a little less spirited, but just because simply they don't.
Usually they are. That one was pretty good, though.
That one was really good.
That was usually good. Sometimes the dry ones are.
Which is understandable. If I go to a show and I've got a few drinks in me or I don't, I'm going to behave a little differently.
Right. Well, and in the music, too. That's what I always think.
But they were, and it was a young crowd.
Yeah.
Too.
It was good. That was a great crowd. Yeah. And because I always think that, too, when they say, because I ask that, and usually the promoters that or venue people who are can't believe that's a thing, because I'll say during my security meeting, I'm like, are we selling alcohol tonight? And they'll go, yeah. Like, what do you mean? Who does it? And I'm like, you'd be surprised. There are a few. We probably do a handful of gigs a year where, for whatever reason, we did a fair recently. Fair board doesn't want to sell alcohol there.
What's so ironic about it is, and I think you and I had talked about it off the air, obviously, but we had with my radio show, we've been discussing all week because the Razorbacks were playing at BYU, which is in Provo, Utah, a couple hours, 3 hours from where we played. And they don't tailgate at all. They don't tailgate for college football. And they're a pretty good program.
Yeah. Especially
over the last handful of years. They have like a 60,000 seat stadium, which is great. And it's in a beautiful setting. They don't sell any alcohol at the
school stadium.
At the stadium, which is now rare.
Yep.
It wasn't a few years ago because they couldn't on college campuses, but now everybody does. So it was just kind of funny that we were there the night before Arkansas played there, and we were in Mississippi the week before, the night before we played Mississippi State. Anyway, as far as the dry show goes, it's like a dry game, dry show.
Yeah.
But it was a really good crowd. And then closed out the weekend a couple of nights ago in Denver for a private show, which you can speak on.
Yeah, it was
what it was for a little more.
It was for Volunteers of America.
Than I can.
It was a lot of the groups that put together a lot of nonprofits all over the country and stuff. Volunteers that do that stuff. They were raising money to go for that. It was Western Fantasies. It was in Denver. It was a cool spot. It was at the original big rodeo complex and agriculture center they have on the outskirts of Denver. That's been there for a long time. Because when we got off the bus, you mentioned it's like it doesn't look like Denver, but it was where like the original. Where they brought the cattle in. It was the ag part of town before Denver became a city. Right. It was the more that part. But
it was near for those in the area listening or watching. It was, I think, only 2 or 3 miles from the Grizzly Rose.
Right. Yeah. It was over in that kind of part.
Which we've only played one time. Have you done that a bunch?
Once or twice with John.
I did it one time. I don't know, 12, 14 years ago. I'm surprised we haven't played there more often, but it's a really good crowd, and you pointed out that they did a video thing before we went on stage. this is was it their 29th year?
Something like that. Yeah, I think it started in 93 or 4.
I think it was 29 because I think next year will be 30.
Yeah, it is. That's right.
And everybody's played there.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, everybody from Chesney to you saw more than I
starting
did,
when I was just walking the floor and that day and saw the signs they had for each year. It had each year at the top. Then it had who played, who the main sponsors.
I mean, huge artists.
First one was John Denver. The next year was like Kenny Rogers. Then it was like Dolly. Then it was like George Jones. Then it was Alabama. Then it was just like that all through the years. Then it was Garth, Tricia. I mean, it was just.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, anybody anybody you could think of over the years has done it.
Is it always in Denver?
Yeah.
Okay. So were all those people local?
No, not all of them.
I didn't know, so I didn't say.
No, not everybody.
A lot of times I get that information, but I didn't prior to that show. But I guess the theme was Western. That's why everybody was dressed like JR and I.
Yeah, Western fantasy.
So I don't know if everybody was a country music fan, but they looked it.
Yeah.
They looked the part.
Yeah.
Bolo ties.
Oh, yeah.
Belt buckles.
Yeah.
The whole
yeah.
bit.
They had a big dinner and auction before we went on and that kind of stuff. Yeah, and I think
it was really good.
The lady who has been the chair lady of it for the last years, her and her husband, I can't remember the name of their foundation, but they're old school Denver, like they own the horse that's the Denver Broncos mascot. They own the.
So the gentleman I talked to after the show, and I talked to both of them, but I was talking to him about that in particular, and he said that he's like, yeah, we own the Denver Broncos mascot, and I'm thinking, what does that mean? Like the uniform, like the costume, the name, the rights to it. The real horse? I don't know what that means, but that's awesome.
Yeah, they actually had the horse there before we were there that day, and it walks through the crowd and stuff.
Okay. But he was like, yeah, next time y'all are out this way during football season, we'll take you on the sideline, which would be neither of us are Bronco fans, but it'd be fun to go.
Watch Jared Judy, yeah, absolutely.
Check it out.
Eddie Jackson.
So,
But yeah, so they have a bunch of land. I think they're like big ranchers or something in that world.
He mentioned that, like hunting and stuff.
Because they had also mentioned, wanting us to come go hunt. And I was like, oh, you got some land? Yeah. It was like, yeah, we got 50,000 acres or something crazy. But really cool event they did to raise money for Volunteers of America to help all the volunteers that help with all the things that go on for these different organizations throughout the year.
Yeah, so then we got home yesterday afternoon, sometime around 3 o'clock. Played with the kids. JR got a good sweat in on my basketball court. I don't have a basketball court, but it's basically half court kind of deal. And so
South got mad at me because I wouldn't pass him the ball enough. I'm like, I'm trying, buddy.
So he threw his Gatorade.
Yeah, I'm feeding the post.
But hey, you were impressed with Ella and Kennedy. They're coming along.
Oh yeah, Ken can get it up there now too. She can hit. Ella's. I knew Ella as soon as she got strong enough, she'd be able to shoot. She's smart. She knows how to move the ball. Yeah. And Ken's tall and strong enough now. She don't need to let the goal down there. She's fine. She can shoot.
Yeah.
But it was good. Klein and South, they dragging. I got to work on him a little bit.
It's weird with basketball. Like I didn't fool with the older ones as much shooting wise and the technique being proper, because until you're strong enough, you're just
try
kind
your
of
best
shoving it up there.
Yeah.
So, but Ella's played on the junior high team this year, being in 7th grade. I don't know how much she'll play, but she's on the team and practicing 5 days a week with them. And I hadn't seen her shoot in a few weeks, and I'm like, wow, the rotation on the ball. She's shooting the ball really well, and Ken, for her age, I mean, she's 10, so for her age, doing really good. And basketball is Ken's thing. She likes it better than softball, and tries harder. Let me say that.
Usually goes hand in hand. When you like something, you try harder.
Yeah. So, but speaking of ball. I mean, we have to go there. We have to.
Yeah, congratulations, UT. You got us. You beat Bama. Congrats. All I can say. I don't have a ton of Tennessee friends. Yeah, I got some friends from over in Tennessee. But it'll
be another 15 years before we have to go there again on this podcast.
But I do have some. Shout out my buddy Alan Slitzler, the Hawk, that works for the team. I sent him a congrats. I know he's been waiting on this. My buddy Russ Garrett that works for Luke. Brian. I know he's been waiting on this, but
you know what I thought about? Just last night, and I meant to mention to you, our crazy buddy with BG. Who's the craziest one with BG?
Jeff Gossett?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He's a big Tennessee fan, ain't he?
Yeah.
I thought about that.
I should. I need him. Sorry, Jeff. I'm going to text him.
I'm pretty sure he's UT.
But and with all those guys, though, there's none to rag because I've never ragged them. They don't rag me. They don't talk smack. I don't talk smack to them. Never
There's
have.
one that does rag.
Oh, yeah. We've got a brand new one. Our drummer, Tucker.
Yeah, we got to get into this a little bit.
Yeah, decides like a week ago he's a Tennessee volunteer football fan now. I'm like, on the one time they're good in 20 years.
Okay, seriously, though. He's not even making this up, and this is not sour grapes. So Tucker is the least sports guy outside of NASCAR.
And baseball. He's a brave.
But he loves baseball and now golf, but that I've ever seen in my life. And I don't mean that as a knock. He's just like JR and I can chop it up. You guys have heard for over 100 episodes now about different, especially baseball, basketball, football.
Yeah.
Outside of that, whatever. We don't really know a ton. NASCAR, but Tucker, God love him, knows nothing. I love you, Tucker. I would say this to your face. I probably have. So it was 2 weeks ago, I think. And I swear Tucker's been playing with us for like 5, 6, 7 years. Yeah. I don't know, 8 years, a long time. And he's a tremendous human being and a phenomenal drummer. But I swore he told me he was not a Tennessee fan, which I found odd. He's from Tennessee. I thought he pulled for Vandy.
He used to tell me he pulled for Alabama, like 6 months ago. He told me.
So it's been like 7 different teams.
I've gotten him Alabama gear. He gave me Alabama stuff that his granddad, Spider, who played on the Opry for 50-something.
Spider Wilson.
Yeah, he gave me some stuff that his grandmother gave him from Spider that was like, I've got like some vintage Alabama stuff and some little stuff from the 60s, early 60s when his dad was a fan and big. So, yeah, he literally told me a year ago he was an Alabama fan.
All right, so 2 weeks ago, where we're going with this, 2 weeks ago he shows up on the road with this terrible orange hat. I mean, just god-awful. No offense, Tennessee, but your colors are terrible. They just are. The orange don't look good on nobody. Don't even look good on a damn pumpkin. But, and I'm like, what are you doing? What is that? Well, Tennessee's good for the first time in a decade or two or whatever. I don't know. He's like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, I figured.
And I'm like,
I just figured since I live there, I mean.
I'm from there. I'm like, what? Where did this come from all of a sudden?
Yeah, and now so then shows back up like he's Mr. Superfan, been a fan all his life and ready to get in the spirit of rivalry.
I'll set this up. I'll let you comment. But so Tennessee and Alabama are playing midday this past Saturday. They're both undefeated, both really good teams. And we have TVs outside our bus, and so we're kind of all out. My game was on at the same time, but it wasn't a high-level matchup because us and the team we were playing are both like 500. Tennessee and Alabama are both undefeated at the time, and so big-time matchup, game of the week kind of deal, and so I'm just amazed prior to the game at how much smack he's talking, and you're kind of not having it, but you're kind of, all right, well, you better watch it. I don't, whatever. It was just minimal kind of stuff. You're
knowing I could bury him.
Yeah, you're walking around. Yeah, you don't go into like where you been the last 15 years or quite honestly, the last 80 years or whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Right.
I mean, Alabama's the most storied program there is, but you don't go into all that. And I'm like, he just keeps on and keeps on like a little dog nipping at your heels. And I'm like, I'm loving it because I'm sitting there and it's just entertainment to me. And I see JR getting like more and more steamed up and heated. And I'm like, it was like, the old school way you made popcorn on the stove. It just keeps bubbling up. I'm like, he's gonna pop at some point. I mean, it's just gonna. The popcorn's gonna be done in a minute. I mean, or the pressure cooker when it starts whistling or the steam comes out of it. And so he kept on and kept on and kept on the whole time. And God love him. I mean, he's like, I love this stadium. And I'm like, which one? Well, they're playing at Tennessee, which is Neyland Stadium. And Tucker, I'm so sorry. I got to talk smack on you though. It's so funny, man. If you're listening,
that's a different Tucker. You can only hit the drums real hard when you're mad at me, but I can come on here and give you crap in front of thousands of people.
So I go, which stadium? He goes, this one. Oh, I go, oh, all right. He goes, Neyland. I don't even say anything. I just go, oh, okay, cool. And so there were a couple. And then later, like after the game, and I'm gonna let you comment. After the game. He goes, man, I'm just happy. They're interviewing Tennessee's coach, and of course he's elated, as he should be. And he goes, I'm just happy for him. I go, who? And he goes, what did he say?
Jeremy.
Oh, he goes, I'm just happy for him. I go, who? He goes, Jeremy Heupel. And I go, what about Josh Heupel? He goes, huh? I go, yeah, that's Josh Heupel. I never heard of Jeremy Heupel. And then one more. I'm sorry, I'm throwing him under the bus, but it's funny. And our sports guys out there will get how funny this is. And this proves the point of he's not been a fan.
The only one who's probably coming out to woodwork being your Tennessee fan again.
So he comes on my bus after the game. He's like, man, he goes, are we in the SEC championship now? And I said, huh? He goes, yeah, are we in the SEC championship now? I go, no. I go, you got to play like, I don't know, the other half of your season. And then depending on your record, that will determine your record in the SEC. That will determine whether or not you're in the SEC. Beating Alabama doesn't automatically put you into the SEC championship. Yeah. Anyway, it was funny. And watching you guys rib each other was funny. And Nate was even more
calm,
punishing than you.
I'm not even by myself anymore either.
But Nate was more, I don't know, going at it more than you did.
I just kept thinking, does he not know what he's doing? I mean, just shut up, Tucker.
But the point is he doesn't, and that's the beauty of him. We love you, Tucker. We really do. Yeah. But we had to give you credit.
And I'm glad y'all were excited.
So anyway,
and they should be happy.
Here's your opportunity to comment. And
it is what it is. Yeah, I just thought and I just couldn't even take him serious but I'm also like, who let this? It's almost like you're at that party, and somebody brings the one dumbass who doesn't know what they're talking about, and he talks the whole time. Where everybody else sitting there knows a lot, but just knows we're watching and paying attention. Just shut up. But he couldn't help it. But it is what it is. I'll be sure to bring it back up next time we get together with them. Yeah. And it's good. They should be happy. They should all be happy. It's been a long time. It's a big win for them.
Been decades.
When they, like that thing I was telling you about earlier. It's a big win, and they should tear their goalposts down and storm the field. And I mean, it's a big win to beat a big program like Alabama. But just remember, when we beat you, it's just Saturday.
Yeah.
So we'll be back. I'm proud of my Crimson Tide. That's a tough game. That's one of the hottest teams in the country. Their offense is elite. Their wide receiver is probably the best in the country, and their quarterback's playing stud.
Well. I could to speak more on the game. In all seriousness, Tennessee's got a really good football team. I don't know how good their defense is. I mean, Alabama's an elite offense as well, but man, 103 points in that game. I mean, good.
That's the most points. That's the most points Alabama's given up. You know the last time we gave up more points than that? Take a wild guess.
I bet it's not been in the Saban era.
1907.
Oh my God!
We gave up 54 points against a college that doesn't exist anymore. 1907 was the last time we gave up.
So that's well over a century.
Yeah, over 115 years ago.
That's amazing. Yeah, they're
and we broke the record for penalties, which we got a young team. I mean, it is what it is. Yeah, I knew going in, me and Nate the day, everybody in my whole Bama world the day before was like,
and any Tennessee fan out there, we had to give Tucker crap and you guys crap just for the hell of it.
He's the only.
But congratulations, that was a huge win, and And Heupel's done an incredible job. I mean, he's only in his second year, if I'm not mistaken, second or third, but I think second. Mm-hmm. And to have you guys in the position he does is a credit to him, and he's done a great job. And the offense, man, is just elite, like you said. And I mean, they just kept running by Bama secondary guys, and they weren't making contested catches, which was what was surprising to me. They had 5 yards of separation.
Yeah, they were just running. They were already running mid-stride. That guy could put it on.
And Hendon Hooker, their Tennessee's quarterback,
he can throw it.
He was putting it right on them.
Mm-hmm.
But it was for somebody who's unbiased. It was a great game.
I bet.
I mean, it reminded me a lot of our game against Ole Miss last year, which I think was 52-51, if I'm not mistaken. We lost. It was like back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Nobody could stop anybody. And
I knew it was going to come down to who had the ball last. I knew it.
And you thought, and we'll get off it, but you thought even when y'all missed the kick with 15 seconds, you go, they're not going to go score in 15 seconds. But even Coach Saban said in the post-game press conference that I think he kind of put it on the staff, I'm sure himself included, but y'all just played too soft a coverage on those 2 plays at the end of the game. But anyway, congrats to Tennessee. And the good thing for you guys is at Alabama and the Bama fans, still got everything to play for. Win out, which more than likely you will, and you're in the SEC championship. And you guys, I would think, not hope, for me as a college football fan, I hope, but I would think that you guys would say, hey, all right, Tennessee, go beat Georgia.
Please.
And then we get you back in the SEC championship game.
Absolutely. So. Yeah, that's all you can hope for.
And and then my Razorbacks, after a 3-game losing streak, which should have been a 2-game losing streak, missing our quarterback last week, and then blowing a game against A&M, which I'm still not over. I'm sorry to keep bringing that up. But coming off a 3-game losing streak, get our quarterback back, and he has a career day in a dangerous place to play, Provo, Utah, which I mentioned earlier. They played a good, decent to good BYU team. We couldn't stop. Neither team could stop each other in the first half, and then finally we got a couple of key turnovers, and I think we scored JR on like 8 consecutive possessions or something. It was the best our offense has looked all year. KJ Jefferson, our quarterback, threw for 350 and ran, I don't know, whatever. It was he had a career day. 5 touchdowns, no interceptions. So it was good to get back on the good side of things, and we're missing like 6 guys in our secondary, which is contributing to our problems on defense. And we have a bye week this week and 5 games left, and if you go win the rest of them with your bowl win, I mean, this is a big if, but you can win 10 games this year.
Yeah,
so
can be
done.
I mean,
there you go. Good season still. There's a lot to play for still for both of our teams is my point. So anyway, hopefully you guys had a good college football Saturday. NFL, my team won. Steelers, I have no idea how. Our offense is still putrid, but a lot of offenses in the NFL are. We played Tampa Bay, and even with Tom Brady, their offense is doing little to nothing. Our offense has done nothing all year. We take no deep shots. We were watching the game yesterday, but our defense stepped up, and we got a tight win, 2-4, which sounds terrible, but our division, I think the best record is 3-3. So we got a chance, and you guys are kind of in the same boat. Y'all Saints,
yeah.
They're kind of in an okay division, which is kind of what ours is right now. So as bad as the start's been, or as lackluster, not bad, because I think you guys are 3-3 now. Is that right?
Yeah.
I think y'all are 1 game better than us, but I could be wrong. But, I mean, we still have a chance, both of our teams, to win our division, which is after 6 games and you're either 500 or under, you're going, probably not. But.
And yesterday was a big shakeup, too, because all the early games, seems like all the favorites lost. All the early games, Bills and a few others. And last night was a real good one. Cowboys and Eagles. Jalen pulled it through. Jalen Devonta pulled it through.
Eagles are really good. That division is best in NFL right now. The Eagles are 6-0. You got the Giants at 5-1. The Cowboys at 4-2. That might be the best division in football, but for my money, the best two teams in the league are the Chiefs and the Bills.
Yeah.
And I would say either of the two would be the favorite. Probably the Bills now, because unless they lose a game they shouldn't, they're going to have home field advantage in the playoffs with the Chiefs. I don't know. Josh Allen, to me, is the best quarterback in the league right now.
Yeah,
and that Mahomes is amazing too, but they're head and shoulders above anybody else, except maybe the Eagles right now, to me.
Yeah, I agree. And then our Braves fought diligently, but then it just didn't peak at the right time, and they were hot. All the 100-win teams are out. And I thought we were the best team in baseball. I thought with our pitching, I just thought we could piece it together.
We didn't pitch it well. We didn't hit it well in this series, either or.
And they got hot. They put together nice little
They kind of remind you of us last year.
I know. They put it
But
together
the thing is, like, Dave, our bass player who keeps up with baseball, had said the same. He's like, man, y'all just caught the Phillies at the wrong time. I go, but they caught us at the wrong time too, because we were hot going into the playoffs. We were scorching hot, which is why a lot of people picked the Braves to be back in the series, but didn't happen. The Phillies kind of have that look to me as far as baseball goes, how you're going. They kind of look hot at the right time, and it's not really about the best team all the time. The Braves are a great example from last year again, but it was a bummer.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Right now, my money would be on the Phillies and the Yankees being in the series. Which big game 5 tomorrow night, I believe, as we're recording this, with the Yankees and either the Astros, I believe, or the Indians, I forget. But anyway, look forward to watching the rest of the playoffs in baseball, but not as excited as I was a week ago at this time, at least.
Oh, no.
With the Braves being out. But today's episode is sponsored by Bobcat. If you're like me, you don't like to sit still for very long. You look out the window and see possibilities. What if I planted a row of trees over there? It'd be nice to clear that trail in those woods. That's why Bobcat equipment is so great. Its compact size, powerful performance, and big-time versatility will keep up with all your ideas for your property. With a few attachments or implements and a Bobcat tractor, for example, you can do big things in small amounts of time. It's perfect for me when I have a break from touring or recording. Take a look at tractors, utility vehicles, mowers, and more at bobcat.com, or pay a visit to your local dealer. Hey, what's up, guys? Justin Moore here. I want to remind everyone out there listening that my wife Kate has an awesome children's clothing boutique in downtown Benton, Arkansas. It's Central Arkansas. So if you're local, come see us at 119 West South Street in downtown historic Benton, Arkansas. Again, that's 119 West South Street in Benton, Arkansas. And if you're not local, we ship everywhere. So you can find us at shopthislittlepiggy.com and see all that we have to offer. All that my wife Kate has to offer, I should say. Facebook, you can find us at Shop This Little Piggy AR. And Instagram, you can find us at Shop This Little Piggy AR. But check us out. It's called This Little Piggy. And see what we got to offer. ShopThisLittlePiggy.com.
Hi, y'all. This is Brandon Bing, singer-songwriter and whiskey maker. You're tuning into the Justin Moore Podcast. Visit EasyLiquor.com to grab your bottle of Bangtail Whiskey and join the Blue Collar Swaller family today. Follow us on all socials at Bangtail Whiskey for more news and updates. Now pour Jigger and take this a second ride with us.
Hey, gang. As y'all have heard, the Justin Moore Podcast has recently teamed up with Wrangler. Wrangler has been an icon in authentic American style around the world for more than 70 years. With a rich legacy rooted in the American West, Wrangler commits to offering unmatched quality and timeless design. As y'all have heard me and Justin talk about on here, George Strait and Alan Jackson, they're Wranglers. We wear Wranglers too. Its collections are also for men and women, children, to look and feel great, inspiring those who wear them to be strong and ready for life every day. Wrangler is available in retail stores worldwide, including brand flagship stores in Denver and Dallas, department stores, mass market retailers, specialty shops, Western outfitters, and online. For more information, visit Wrangler.com. And you know you've heard it here, and you've seen it on stage, the Justin Moore podcast. Dang glad to be partnered up with Wrangler because we're big fans and have been for a long, long time. Can't go wrong with a nice pair of Wranglers, y'all. I wear the Wrangler Retro. Justin wears the black one some. It's my go-to. I get mine at Academy. So if you're around an Academy or just about anywhere, you can get you a pair of Wranglers, whether you want to look like George Strait, or you want to look like JM, or you want to look like me. You can get you some Wranglers, and you can do that. Whether you're in North California or South Alabama or Montana, Texas, Ohio, Wyoming, wherever, a pair of Wranglers will get the job done. Long live cowboys and plowboys. For more information, visit Wrangler.com.
And I think we talked a few weeks ago about this. And for those watching, see it. For those listening, you don't. My reading glasses. Well, I've gotten JR on the reading glasses train now. And I just happen to have a couple pair here because I didn't think you brought yours.
I was just thinking they might
these
need to
are
borrow
dirty.
some, help read these Q&A things. It might help.
Here you go.
Thanks, buddy.
See if that helps you. Those are a little stronger than the ones we got on the road.
Oh, yeah.
They're a little strong, too strong for me.
Hold it right here. Oh, yeah. It's like I'm reading something. I mean, it's so easy to read it.
I mean,
so easy to read it.
So, for those who maybe didn't hear or watch, I don't know. This was a month, 6 weeks ago, whatever. I told JR on the podcast that I was now wearing reading glasses, and I'm not even ashamed of it because they help so much, and we had a good laugh about it. And
I mean, to read, they really just help so much. If you're looking at something,
and so we were on the road. Was it last week?
Yeah,
or I think
past week.
Or 2 weeks ago. I don't know, but I had forgotten mine. I had forgotten to take them on the road, and so we had Nate go buy us a couple of pairs.
Yeah, readers. We both need a pair of readers.
And you actually started using
I
yours,
need them because I was trying to read something at the light, and I'm like, let me try these. And I put them on. Oh, yeah, he can read number 1069311, just whatever it was.
Yeah.
Just read it plain as day with that.
So do we want to do a little bit of Q&A and then get out of here? You got to go get Reese from the airport. We got to. I'm telling you, when we close this podcast down, we're in full vacation mode. So we'll report back next week, hopefully with a good tan.
Yeah,
but
and everybody stay warm. I mean, even here it's gonna be freezing in the morning. Freeze watch. I'm looking at for Poe in the morning.
Yeah, we have. It's weird. Like I don't know what it's pretty warm yesterday, today.
Yeah, it's 65 right now.
And so, which 65 is great, but and then it goes back up to the mid 80s next week. But we have a 3-day stretch here where it's supposed to be really cold.
Yeah, it's going to be 34 in the morning. Tuesday night, 27. Wednesday night, 31.
Woo.
Sounds fun, don't it, Just?
Well, we won't be here.
I know.
So
thank goodness.
It's fine with me. And then when we come back, it'll be in the mid 80s.
Hopefully we'll have good weather. Everybody be safe out there. Stay warm. Be ready. Check your chimneys now. Make sure nothing's clogging them up. Make sure you gas. Make sure everything's
crank up that heater.
Yeah, make sure all your heaters and stuff work now before when you need them and you crank them on and something goes wrong, you got to call somebody to come work on them. Check them now, everybody. Check on your friends and your family and your grandma and any older folks. Make sure they got what they need. Make sure your dogs and cats and pets got hay or a door, whatever they need. Y'all get ready. We have so much. It seems like we have so much stuff now with crazy weather and just accidents and fires and floods. Every time you turn, I don't know if it's because we see the world now because we have internet and stuff, but it seems like we have so much of that. We really got to be on our P's and Q's about stuff we can control because that stuff you can't. But like making sure ahead of time you got nanny's got blankets, and I mean just make sure we all take care of each other as much as we can because some of this stuff, these poor people. I was watching the floods down in Mexico, and they've got some over in Nigeria. 1.3 million people displaced over there because these 1,000-year flood over there. I mean, what do you do with 1.6 million people?
Yeah.
We can barely help 5,000 or 10,000 people if some shit hits the fan over here. You
Yeah,
know. So
it's
anyway.
tough.
Everybody help each other out and be prepared because winter's here. I guess is the gist of that. It's here, and we weren't expecting it because it's kind of lingered into fall, and then hell, it's going to be 27 in 2 days here. So everybody stay warm. But yeah, let's do that. Let's get on some Q&A, and then we'll
and then full vacation.
Then we'll get on vacay mode. Yeah, and thanks for everybody getting these in. Either send them to me at JR the Handler or Justin at Justin Colmore. Instagram, Twitter, and then I hope everybody has went on Instagram and following the Justin Moore podcast Instagram page because we're gonna be more active on that, getting stuff out and putting posts and things like that and stories from the road. So make sure to get on that. But use the hashtag Justin Moore Podcast. Remember, Justin's blue check. I'm only JR the Handler. No spaces, no ones, no nothing. Had a couple of fakers. Cody sent me this today, and I'm like, really, people going to take my pictures and put it on? Like, give me a break. If you ain't got nothing better to do, try to piddle with my crap. You know what I'm saying? Right. I mean, like, give me a break. Get a job. There are jobs, I promise. Everywhere we go, there's help wanted signs. So anyway, but thank you for using the hashtag Justin Moore Podcast, sending these in. So we've got some. Continue to do so in any of these things we mentioned. This one's from Patrick King. Oh man, your boy JM has done it again with his new song with Priscilla Block. This is going to be another #1. Needs to be all over country radio. Hope you guys are well.
Thank you, man. Appreciate that. I'm glad you dig it.
Thanks, Patrick. Next one I got here. It was a picture of my truck loaded down with scrap plywood trying to get my property fixed out there with my knucklehead. That's a whole other story.
Somebody commented on it?
No, I just flipping through my notes here. Yeah, if you ever get somebody to help you do something, especially right now when things are so hard to get any help and can't find it, be thankful you got some help if you got some good help. Hey, JR, it would be cool for you and JM to do a Mount Rushmore of past podcast episodes. Mine would be Red Aikens episode, Travis Tritt, McConaughey, and the Locash episode, with my cloud as the episodes with Kate. And I think y'all are at 95, so getting close to the big 100. That's Chase Morris. Who guess on the podcast?
I think Rhett's got to be up there.
Yeah.
For sure. Everybody loved that one. And that was just
Kate's
BSing with a buddy.
It wasn't even the podcast much, but the time in season 1 when you were asleep on your desk, that was an all-time classic.
That's classic.
That wasn't even for the episode itself. That was just for the
no, that was just me being ridiculous.
Asleep right there.
And that was us. You see it's daylight because you can tell it's peeking through the blinds. That's one of the reasons we do this. We normally do this at like a noonish before.
Used to, we would do it at 8 or 9 o'clock at night.
Yeah, we learned early on that was not a good idea.
If you got less cables to choke yourself on now.
Yeah, I was literally under this desk, asleep. Cables wrapped around my neck.
Justin, what? Kate.
Cody, you can add that audio to the end of this episode for those who may have heard that.
That was a good. And McConaughey was good because it was just fun to catch up with somebody, and he had just had the book out, so he had some good stuff to talk about.
I would add Tracy Lawrence to that list. Probably either of he's done the podcast twice, but either of his episodes, I really enjoyed his first one, and that was during the pandemic. We talked about like him getting shot.
Yeah.
We went in a lot of there were some George Jones stories. There were some great stories in there.
Yes,
so
that's a good point.
If you haven't listened to that one or listened to it in a while, go back and listen to that one. McConaughey was great.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it's hard to pick because they've all been good.
Yeah, they really have.
I really liked when we have Marty on or Kevin Nagandi on that time. That was awesome. Hell, Sarah last week. I thought
Sarah was great.
She was great. Yeah. Speaking of that, thank you, Sarah Huckabee Sanders, for coming on last week. She was fan. And
I don't know if we got any comments about that episode, but hopefully people dug that. I want to go back and actually listen to it.
Yeah,
which I haven't done. But she was really good. Maybe we can get her dad on too.
That'd be awesome. Yeah, but that's a good one, and and maybe everybody send us your your Mount Rushmore of podcast episodes so far because it's just hard for me
to
pick.
The Travis Tritt was great.
Tritt was great. I was just thinking too. I mean, Granger was great. Party was good. Riley was good. Denning when we had him on. I mean, we enjoy them all, but some of them for me are ones I don't already know because I know all those. I'm sure some are funner for people to listen to. They are for.
I thought the Parker McCollum one was good too because we. I didn't know him well,
right?
And I learned any of them that I learned from. I enjoy.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat on that. But yeah, great question, Chase. Let's see here. Oh, I saw this. This is just random, and everybody knows I'm a wrestling fan. Justin is some, but I'm a huge wrestling fan growing up.
Any of the Dally ones are good.
Yeah, Dallas, DDP, which we got to hit him up.
We need to get back.
We need to FaceTime him when we're at Mexico.
Yeah.
Doing.
Hell, he's probably down there.
He actually was like somewhere like Alaska on some iceberg giving motivational speeches last week. When I saw him. But I saw this, and this is for my people. Speaking of Kojo, this is for my buddy Jackson Bragg, Cody's tour manager, because he'll get this, and most Texas guys will. I'm a big wrestling fan, and I did some background acting when we lived in Louisiana, which I don't get too much anymore. Might some this off season, but got an availability request, and I mean, if this would have been a spot like any kind of good paid role is, I might have had to figure out a way to get to do this, but it was just a background thing. But they sent me a request for a show that they're filming coming up soon. It's called The Iron Claw, and the character is reoccurring wrestling fans. I'm like, is this made for me or what? So anybody out there wants to get on this too, you can look into this. This is on you can dig around and find out how to get in touch with this on like Central Casting or something. But it's working. It's going to be shot in Baton Rouge mostly. But reoccurring wrestling fans. This we're hoping to book the same majority of fans. Takes place small town in Texas, 70s and 80s. But it's going to be. Basically, it's a wrestling movie on. Oh, here it is. I got it. The Iron Claw is based on a true story. Follows the rise and fall of the Von Erich family, a dynasty of wrestlers who made a huge impact on the sport from the '60s to present day. So that's the Von Erich family that started the wrestling in Texas back in the day. Fritz Von Erich, that was his move, the Claw. So they're shooting a movie for that now. So like wrestling fans rejoice. There's going to be a real big time movie about the Von Erichs at some point.
Wow.
I hope I don't get in trouble for saying that, which they're sending out
That's
requests.
awesome.
They need people to go be on it, so go check that out.
Remind me to ask you something about getting with him on a Kojo show, but we need to get some more wrestlers. Who else did we have?
Well, and I was going to mention that when we were talking about our shows, and I want to get him and his dad both on. We talked to Teddy DiBiase, WWE star from the Legacy era.
The other day.
Yeah, just at
Ridgeland.
Yeah, at the event.
Yeah.
He's a big backer with Norm and them. They do a lot of stuff with the veterans and
But
stuff.
we had another big time. We had Ken Shamrock on.
We've had Angle. Did we have Angle on?
No, but we
need to get Angle on. Oh, that's right. It was when he was going in the Hall of Fame thing. But we'll make that happen for sure.
So maybe we should do
And I want to get so Teddy DiBiase's dad is Ted DiBiase, the $1 Million Man, who everybody remembers. So want to get them on.
Speaking of big time movies, I'll just mention this real quick and then we'll move on. But did you see where they're making a major motion picture about John Daly and who's playing him?
No.
Of course, I'm gonna forget the kid's name. He's been in all kinds of huge stuff.
Danny McBride.
No.
With a wig, that would be great.
No, he's been. He was in Superbad.
Jonah Hill.
Yes.
He's gonna play Daly.
He's playing John Daly.
Oh my gosh.
Is that not ridiculous?
So you just keep drinking and smoking and partying and be good at something and everything
well,
will work
I think
out for
it
you.
proves be yourself.
Just be yourself. Yeah.
Just be you.
Yeah.
You be you. But anyway, I just read
JD.
that.
There's
Crazy.
somebody we've got to have on soon. All right, let me get to the next one here. I've got one.
Yeah, we'll definitely get him on.
This is from Renee on Instagram. IzzyBoo21. She says, "Hey, JR, first off, I love the podcast and listen while I'm running. If you would please let Justin know that he put on an amazing show in Corinth, Mississippi.
Thank you.
I love that he played all of his old songs. He even made me shed a few tears when he sang If Heaven Wasn't So Far Away. I was missing my dad. Love your new song, You, Me, and Whiskey, and can't wait for the new album, Woo Pig."
Awesome. Thank you.
Yep, that's a good one, Renee.
Renee.
Let's see. This is Derek Blitzinger on Instagram. D Blizzy. What up, JR and JM? Real quick, just want to say the new single is phenomenal. Justin Villalobos absolutely killed the vocals. Is playing on repeat since it dropped. Second, was wondering if Justin had any tips he'd care to share for a first-time dad. We recently found out my wife is pregnant with twins after 3 failed rounds of IVF, and I need all the tips I can get. Thanks and God bless. That's Derek Blitzinger.
Well, first of all, thank you for the kind words about the new single, and congratulations. That's super exciting. I don't have any tips for twins. I would think that you would want to keep them on the same schedule as best you can. I don't know that. That would be probably a better question for Jeremy, my producer, because he has twins. But, man, I've said this jokingly, but I also mean it to first-time parents that ask me the same type of question. Get all the rest you can now before they get here, because when they get here, it's you can't imagine, first and foremost, how rewarding and how awesome and how unbelievable it is to be a parent. But secondly, you can't imagine how much work it is. Mm-hmm. And I don't mean that in a bad way. It just is. I mean, it's just you'll sit there with your wife, and when you get the kids to bed for the first time in 16 hours or whatever it is, and go, what did we used to do all the time? Like I guess we were boring. I don't know. We just sit here and look at each other. Yeah. But because you're always doing something. And with one kid, when you go from 1 to 2, then you realize how easy 1 was. But you're getting 2 right off the bat. Right. So,
well, that's what I've got on my wife's side of the family. My nephews, I've got 2 twin boy nephews. That's all I've got over there. Argel and Ed have 2 boys. So I was around them. They were little. I didn't do a lot of the heavy lifting with them, just to be honest. I was the fun uncle like I am with your kids, I can imagine, because they were a handful at 3, 4 when I met them, buddy. That's just no. But it might be easier too, because you just got to do it all. You're forced to do it at once. It's just
I've heard that from multiple parents, parents of multiples, I should say. But I don't have any experience. Yeah. I do have triplet cousins on both sides of my family, but I was kind of like with one of them, they're my age, and then with the others, they were, I was 18, 19, 20 years old, and I held them.
Right, play with them a little bit, yeah. I would say something on that. It's something I've watched you guys lean into over the years, is just be stocked up, especially nowadays. Be prepared. Get you a Sam's or Costco membership. Go ahead and stock your pantry up with napkins and wipes, and just get your stuff ready if you can.
I'll say this too, with first-time parents, and we were the same way, and everybody is. You're not going to break them. No, you're not going to break them, and you don't have to bowl the passies. There may be people out there that disagree with me, but they're wrong. You don't have to bowl the pacifiers. Pick it up, wipe it off, give it back to them. And you don't need thousands of things. You need the bare minimum. Get with somebody and get the handful of things that you'll really use.
They can actually probably hit the store up.
Yeah, you can. This little piggy, if you call and ask for my wife. This little piggy. Call and ask for Kate. If she's not there, ask for Amy. That's our great friend and partner in the business, and she's a parent also. And they'll tell you straight up, you need this, you don't need that, you need this, you don't need, and we carry it all, so you can get whatever. Even if you don't get it from us, call and ask for Kate. She'll tell you. And then
because they did that for my nephew, and I remember Jamie and them saying that they were thankful, because it was like exactly what they needed.
Because a lot of time it's kind of like when you get married and you register for everything and you don't use half of it.
Right.
People do that with babies too, us included. We all do as first time parents, and then but the most important thing is enjoy it.
Yeah.
And don't take any moment for granted. Yeah. My youngest rather is 5 now, and I mean it makes me sad that he's 5. I wish he was 2 again. I mean, and it goes. Our parents always told us this. Cherish every. It sounds so stereotypical, but it really is true. I mean, cherish every single moment because it goes by in the blink of an eye. And I don't know how old you are out there who asked the question, but man, my oldest is about to be 13. I mean, she's going to be flying the coop before I know it.
Right.
And that is just mind blowing to me.
Right.
So, hopefully some of that or one of those things helps.
Yeah.
And congratulations. That's super exciting.
Yeah, it goes by so fast. Yeah, my buddies' kids who were little when, I remember they were born and stuff. I mean,
now they're playing college football, starting their careers.
They're moving to Atlanta. They got a house now. They're adults.
Mm-hmm.
Terry's brother-in-law, Jay, his oldest boy, adult, out of school. Hussey's oldest, out of school.
Married with their own kids.
Yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, and I'd say going back to what I said earlier about wintertime coming, make sure you're prepared. Same with kids. Make sure your vehicles serviced before they get here. Make sure your AC and stuff's been serviced because you're going to be busy in sleeping patterns and all that once they get here. Get stuff handled ahead of time if you can. Next one I got here is from Lori D. Balmer.
By the way, before you start, and go to work because they are expensive.
Yeah, right. It's overtime now while you can.
Save up.
Yeah. I found the podcast this June. I'm all caught up as of this week. I was just curious what was your and JM's first concert ever. Mine was Mark Chestnut opening for Jones and Conway. Chestnut wore overalls and ran and jumped all over the stage. Conway came out there in a tux and a huge red boutonniere.
Wow.
Of course he did.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Mine was coincidentally Charlie Daniels at a place called Magic Springs here in Hot Springs, Arkansas, a theme park that we played years ago. But yeah, Charlie Daniels.
Yeah, I
was probably 8 or 9.
And I don't even remember mine really. And I don't know, my parents.
I had gone prior to that to like the Opry and stuff, but concert that was my favorite.
See, we didn't, and my parents liked music, but they didn't go to concert. We didn't take us to no concerts or nothing. And if we did when I was little, probably the same thing at the Jackson there at the fair with granddaddy and grandma or mom and dad or whoever. But yeah, not really. Even when I was and I grew up on Sticks, we didn't go. I mean, maybe we went to Montgomery, but I wasn't paying attention if we did. It wasn't nothing I really remember, or I don't remember because college days and beyond have faded my memory.
I went to more the older I got.
Well, and a buddy of mine, Mike Diamond, who's been a bunch of shows over the years, we got to talking about it, and he was asking me how many times have I seen so and so. I was like, when you think about it, not really. I have only been to shows outside of shows I'm not working.
That you've worked.
Yeah, I've been to more shows I've worked.
Oh yeah.
I mean, or not more, but I mean I haven't been to many outside of I've worked, or with some capacity with work, since I've been in the music business. Like before I met Wayne and was traveling around doing music and starting to get into music. Before that, I can remember going to Hank Jr. and Kid Rock once in college up in Birmingham, and we saw Paisley came to campus one time. And a few, but I just didn't. And that when I was telling you, me and Grice went and saw Pearl Jam in New Orleans one time. We just happened to be going to New Orleans when we were 19 or 20, and they were playing. So we're like, let's just go. It was awesome, but. And before that, I remember I went to a rap concert in Jackson one time when I was a teenager, or was that Montgomery? But I just didn't go to a lot. I didn't go. My friend, we just weren't. There wasn't many places to go. Now Montgomery had some, but it wasn't.
That was part of our deal. There wasn't a lot of places.
You would have had to go to Birmingham.
I saw a lot of
Atlanta.
I saw a lot of acts at the place I saw Charlie at. It's a theme park and might hold, I don't know, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 people, whatever. And during the summer, and they still do this, but they would have
a couple of concert series.
They would have 8 or 10 during the summer. And I saw Mark Chestnut there. I saw Diamond Rio, Colin Ray. Some of those. And then I remember going and I was, I don't know how old I was. 10 maybe or something. I remember my mom and my aunt taking me. It'd be like Paula and your mom taking you.
And Paula might have taken me.
And they didn't take me because I wanted to go. I just went with them because they wanted to go. I remember going to see Billy Ray Cyrus in Little Rock when it was the Achy Breaky Heart deal.
Right.
I remember going. I was probably a young teenager, maybe 16, and we saw Shania when she was had blown up. But kind of like what you're saying, we didn't have a lot of venues around here that major artists stopped at. It was either State Fair.
State Fair was a big
County Fair, or a little festival where you'd get somebody with 2 or 3 hits. Or we didn't have the big arena. Now we do, but we didn't then. That I remember. I mean, we had an old tired one.
Yeah, and there wasn't and there wasn't a lot of towns around that had different, and like universities have them and stuff. Like college campuses have a lot of concerts, and we didn't. There wasn't really a school around us.
Same with
I would have
us.
had to go to Birmingham, Atlanta, or Dothan maybe, or
when
Mobile.
When I got a little older, we got a nice arena. Plus, you had some more festival type things starting. Like I remember I was 16, 17, 18, and I went and seen George Strait was doing a festival tour, or a stadium tour rather, and he played the 50,000 seat outdoor stadium with Alan Jackson and Leanne Womack and whoever else it was. And then so from the time I was 16 to 22 maybe, I saw a lot more because I was grown up and could afford my own ticket. And
mine was more like 18 to 22 about 18 to 22 when I met Wayne and went on the road and started really getting into music. Because even with him, like, we would play because Montgomery had, like you're saying, we had this fair was the big one, and they had the Coliseums and stuff, the Garrett Coliseum. But Montgomery is still unfortunately on a decline. A lot of cities are in this country, but it
was probably the same as me. Like, you would see an artist with, let's say, 3 hit songs on the radio, and that was all you had back then to discover new music was the radio. You'd see an artist with 3 big songs, 2 big songs, whatever it was, minimal is my point, and it was like a massive
big deal. Yeah,
nowadays it's no big. We're all over the place all the time, and somebody with 2 or 3 hits is big. It's not as big a deal. I mean, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, that's the way it was at least here.
And we had, but we did have like this we had city stages in Birmingham and Jubilee City Fest in Montgomery. So those would have like multiple day acts, like a weekend festival type feel
we didn't really have
in the downtown. So with that, when I started working for Wayne, like, we opened for George Jones, and Black Crowes were on the other stage, and so we got to play early, and I got to shake Jones's hand, then we stood side stage at the Crows. So started getting to do more of that. But before I was in the business, my fraternity brothers were awesome because they exposed me to a lot of stuff, and they coming from a small town, it was like you just didn't go far. Like, going to Birmingham would have been a huge deal, even though now I look back, it's like an hour. It ain't nothing. But then it was not. But then they would take me, like, let's go to Pensacola, and we're going to see the Allman Brothers. I'm like, we're going to drive to Pensacola? And I mean, it just seemed crazy. But it's like, it's just right there. But we would go to there, or we would go to Destin or Panama City when they'd have. And then Atlanta and Macon, Georgia, like. So I would say, like, during those years, and then Birmingham was nothing because we had friends there by then. But, seeing Hank Jr. in Birmingham was an early memory with Kid Rock, which is a badass show. Kid Rock's a rock star for sure. But Widespread Panic, saw them several times. The Allman Brothers, caught both of them several times in college, because it would be – I'd be somewhere at a party Friday night, and somebody's like, Widespread Panic's playing in Macon, Georgia tomorrow. We're going to go. You want to go? And I'm like, yeah, what I got to do? Oh, we're just going to leave tomorrow in the morning or something. We just pile up. It wasn't like you had to have a room. You got to get tickets ahead of time. I'm just by myself, grab a bottle and a backpack or whatever. So
I even went to a number of shows in my early 20s in Nashville when I lived there, and you'll remember the venue. It's no longer a venue, but Starwood
Amphitheater
had a lot of I saw Hank and Montgomery Gentry. I saw Hank, Montgomery Gentry, and Gretchen Wilson.
Ooh, I bet that was
which was a fantastic show. I saw a bunch of people there, but you know, there was a lot more
Right.
the older I got, and then I signed my record deal when I was 23, and I don't know that I've been to 3 concerts outside of my own since then.
Yeah,
I went and saw Seeger one time here in Little Rock after I had a career. I don't know that I've been to
many outside of that.
Yeah,
I know. I always try to catch Hank Jr. if I can, if he's around in the off season or sometime I can go see him. I took Sharice to Pink a few years ago in New Orleans at the Smoothie King, which was awesome. Pink puts on a heck of a show.
Yeah, she's good.
I saw Robert Orkeen this past year on his farewell tour. Just got lucky on that. I saw Isbell a few years ago, which I just flew into town and somebody picked me up and said, "Hey, you want to go?" I was like, "Cool." I mean, random stuff that. And Sharice and I, Alan Jackson,
kind of deals.
Sharice and I, because now it's like us, we got a plan to go. But Sharice and I will go see. If Alan Jackson's playing or Hank, we'll go see one of those if they're around, or if she wants to,
or a buddy, like years ago or a few years ago. Cadillac 3 played here, and I happened to be home, so I wanted to go see them and catch up.
And that was a cool one, and I've mentioned this before on another podcast. That that was the first time we met Morgan Wade. Our bus driver and I walked in, and we were trying to look for somewhere to sit, and we heard this girl singing, and her band was rocking. We looked up there and like, who the hell is this? Well, it turns out it's Morgan Wade, and she's rocking right now.
Right.
So, but anyway, same here, just random stuff. And then Don Grisham hooked us up with the Eagles that time, and you didn't get to go, but Sharice and I go to the Eagles. But,
it's amazing. So
and talking about a big one, I just thought about this. I go back now. One of my biggest memories of a concert was with church group. We went to Birmingham to a Christian concert, and it was a big, massive concert.
Oh,
I just remember that was probably like 14, 13, went with the church group in the van, but it was a big production.
Yeah.
Big. I can't even remember the bands that played then. Huge Christian rock bands at the time, and it was
massive.
It was in this cool place. I mean, the super laser light show, and I mean it was soulful too. So it was really cool.
That's awesome.
Randomly remember.
Well, you mentioned taking Reese to Pink. If you don't leave, you're going to be late to get her.
I know. She just texted me they're delayed. Imagine that.
Imagine
Dallas.
that.
Not long though. Yeah. So I got to get soon. Let me get to these last couple, and then we'll make sure we get this to Cody and bounce. I got. This was from Cole Thompson, and he said, "Just wanted to let y'all know how awesome the podcast is. Been listening to every episode starting with the day podcast 1 came out. My wife bought us a couple of JM tickets for our anniversary down in Cedar City, Utah, and it's our first JM concert. Needless to say, we're stoked and can't wait to see y'all there. Thanks for making the best podcast and some damn good country music too. See you tomorrow."
Cedar City, that was the city.
Yep.
I couldn't think of it earlier. Well, Cole, I like your name. That's my middle name. And thank you, man. I'm glad you listened and enjoyed the podcast, and hopefully you guys enjoyed the show.
Yeah, hopefully
it was fun.
I got to remember to do this before we leave. I got to send a thing to Tim. Don't let me forget. His little grandbaby's turning 1. Where's the one I just had? Oh, it's on this thing. Sorry, gang. Oh, here it is. Jim Burke. This is my on my jrthehandler.com chat page. I've been meaning to get to these few here. JR, hope you had a happy birthday. I'm so glad the podcast is back. I'm on the road a lot, and I've taken y'all with me all over the great state of Oregon. I wanted to mention how Late Nights and Long Necks is one of my all-time favorite albums. I was listening again the other day and was struck by how Justin's one of the most expressive voices in country music. You can hear the pride in his voice, and that's my boy, and the loneliness and regret, and someday I gotta quit. Not everybody can do that, and I think it's something JM doesn't get enough credit for. Also, I was raised...
Thank you. That's very kind of you.
Also, I was raised in a different denomination, and my dad was more of a vodka guy, but Jesus and Jack Daniels pretty much describes my childhood. Huge congrats on number 11, too, by the way, Jim.
Thanks, man. And be safe out there on the road.
Yeah, no doubt. Let's see. Here we go. JR and Justin, big fan down here in Benton, Kentucky, not Benton, Arkansas. Always look forward to listening to y'all's new podcast on Thursday afternoons while mowing my grandfather's yard. I just wanted to say that my buddies and I first saw Justin live at Lynchburg Music Fest in Tennessee during the middle of COVID 2020. COVID took away half of our true college experiences, and just wanted to say thanks for putting us on an incredible show back then. Also, how bad do you think Kentucky will beat Arkansas this year in basketball? Y'all got us the past 2 years, but it's time for the Cats to seek revenge as we play each other twice this coming year. That was.
I don't think we
Skylar.
got y'all 2 years ago. I think y'all got us, but I could be wrong. I think to answer your question in all seriousness, I think they're both really going to be good. They should both be preseason minimum top 10 teams. They both might be top 5 teams. You guys have more returning starters with Wheeler and Oscar Tshiebwe. I think I'm saying that right.
Tshiebwe, that sounds right.
He'll be a Player of the Year candidate again this year. Monster. But not so fast, my friend, on how bad beating us, because we have the number 2 recruiting class in the nation, and we'll be ranked in the top 10, top 5 also. So I think they'll be 2 of the best teams in the SEC. And I would take a split right now if you give it to me.
Yeah, no doubt.
I do think I don't remember. To answer his question, I don't know if it's in Lexington or if it's in Fayetteville, but the last SEC game, at least on our schedule, and I think their schedule or y'all's schedule, is against each other, and I think that could like last year did, that could almost determine the SEC champion. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
we're really young. Y'all have more returning starters. I think we'll be just as talented, if not more so, and we'll have more length than you guys. I mean, our point guard's 6'8", so
that's different.
So we'll be really good, but we're young, so you never know. I mean, you guys in Kentucky know how that goes. I mean, it could work out really good or not. It just depends on how they mature and gel throughout the year.
Yeah,
you know?
That's funny. That show Lynchburg Fest. I remember we did that. That was one of the only shows we did that. Yeah, that was Steph's first show, I believe.
Oh, cool.
I think it was Steph's first show.
But yeah, Tennessee will be good again. Kentucky will be really good. Arkansas should be pretty good. Alabama should be pretty good. They had a good recruiting class. Auburn will be good again. I think it'll be the usual suspects over the last, 4 or 5 years or whatever.
Yeah. All right, I got 2 more here. This might answer our question from earlier. Jasmine Lucas sends in. Good morning. My name is Jasmine Lucas from Benton, Arkansas. I'm taking my husband as a 40th birthday surprise to see Justin's Las Vegas show next Thursday.
Oh, wow.
She was asking for meet and greets if they were any to find. Love the podcast. Have a blessed day. So I bet that was the couple from Arkansas we saw there probably.
Yeah.
So, and yeah, we didn't
do one.
We hadn't been doing any meet and greets. Some of the venue, this and that with stuff. But I'm hoping next year when we start off, we'll get back to normal meet and greets. You'll be able to go on the website, sign up for one, blah blah blah.
But thank y'all for going. That's awesome, and happy 40th.
And we'll give some out for the radio folks as well and things like that. So.
I hope my wife don't take me to my show for a 40th.
Yeah.
Here in a year.
I hope my wife takes me to. Well, I just had my 40th, so I don't remember where I went. I got one more here, and this goes back on our check mark thing. I posted something about fake account stuff, and Uncle Dale, who's got his podcast, Dale Not Dale now, which is funny as all get out. He said, I actually reported this account the other day. They messaged me. I sent them $5,000 to be in the next JM music video. They got me. So
he's ridiculous.
Anyway, y'all make sure to use the hashtag Justin Moore Podcast on that stuff. I had one little fun fact here I pulled up earlier, and I thought I'd mention this before we get off the air. October 17th, we're recording right now. Had 2 legends born on this same day.
Hey, my dad's birthday is tomorrow.
Is it?
By the way, I want to say happy birthday to my dad.
Yes. Happy birthday. Tommy Ray. Happy birthday, Tommy Ray. You write him a song. But two people that we both love their music. I mean, two of our favorites, absolutely. Were born on this birthday, so I mentioned that instead of our birthday song of the week and all that. But in 1941, from Portsmouth, Ohio, one Earl Thomas Conley was born.
Yeah.
And
wow, I didn't realize he was at. So is that 81? Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. You know, he had 18 number ones in a row in the 80s.
Yeah, he had 18 singles during the 80s, marked number one by artists in the genre during the decade. Has been referred to as the thinking man's country because the narrator looks into the heart and soul of his characters in each song. He died April 10th, 2019. And then in 1958, I don't have to say anything else, but he was born in Noonan, Georgia.
Oh, yeah, Alan Jackson.
Alan Jackson.
64.
Birthday today, too. So
65.
No.
4?
57. No. Yeah. Wait a minute.
What year?
58.
Yeah, 64.
64. Okay, that's right. 64.
I think. Yeah, 64.
64, yeah. AJ. So happy birthday, AJ. Happy heavenly birthday to ETC. Those two great ones there. But yeah, good episode this week. Glad to catch up with you guys. Just want to drop in before we get off the map for a little bit. Won't have an episode coming out next week because we're going to be traveling, getting back from there. To get back, once we get back, we've got to restart the engines on the buses, and we've got to go to Oklahoma on the 29th at Newkirk, Oklahoma, playing a casino show there. Y'all come see us there if you're in that area. And then the 11th, we're going to be in Shipshewana, Indiana, and the 12th in Charleston, West Virginia. And that's going to wrap up our touring season.
Yeah, we have 8, I
believe,
believe,
shows.
You said shows left for the year. Bad news, we won't see you on the road for a few months. Good news, you'll see us on this podcast or hear us on this podcast pretty much every single week, maybe excluding Christmas or New Year's or something like that, because we'll be home.
Yep.
And our travel will not get in the way. So thank you guys for tuning in again this week and watching and listening and all that good stuff. JR's got to go get Reese from the airport, and then we'll go right back in the morning to fly to Cancun to have, with the exception of one show, a week off, y'all's first in a year or so, and our first without our kids in 5, 6, 7 years. So we're in vacation mode. Don't call, don't text, don't email because we ain't answering. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode.
Yep, absolutely. And come back and see us next. Tune in next time we have a podcast out. Make sure to tell all your friends and family.
Week after next.
Make sure to tell all your friends and family to go download the podcast and use the hashtag Justin Moore Podcast when you're interacting on social media. And, yeah, we'll be back.
Yeah, happy Halloween if we don't talk to you before then.
Thanks, y'all. Oh, and one last thing here. Today, tomorrow, and always, roll damn Tide.
This episode was brought to you by Bobcat. Check them out at bobcat.com.
For any of you first-time listeners out there, at the end of each of our episodes, I like to do a little reading out of a book I've had that I've got a lot of use out of over the years. The book is by Mr. Charlie Daniels, and the book is called Let's All Make the Day Count, The Everyday Wisdom of Charlie Daniels. Chapter 84, Limited Supply. Lord, remind me how brief my time on earth will be. Remind me that my days are numbered, how fleeting my life is. Psalms 39:4. No matter how healthy, no matter how successful, no matter how confident, young, or wise a person may be, there is no way of telling how long he or she will live. The Bible says that our days are numbered. We are each allotted a certain amount of time, and when it's gone, so are we. Time is one thing that cannot be fabricated or stretched, and is more precious than any earthly possession we could ever have. I consider things like arguing over trivial matters, dissension, revenge, jealousy, and allowing anxiety to rule our days to be a waste of precious time. Not that I always live up to the letter of my convictions, but I strive to. Our efficient use of time can't only be evaluated by the hours we devote to our work or our noble pursuits of charity and kindness, because resting the mind and body is essential.
The importance of spending time with family and friends cannot be overestimated and will never be regretted. Time never takes a vacation. It's ours to use wisely or waste. It never slows down, and once it goes, it is only relived in memories. Every day is a gift of God, a 24-hour unit of time for us to use as we see fit that will soon go its way, never to return again. Make good use of it. Let's all make the day count.